When you spend money to buy a movie ticket for a movie theater, shut the hell up. Chase Lee Hockey here with the Blue Futon reviewing The Nun 2. So first, what I was talking about in the beginning, I was watching this in Screen X where you have like the screens on all like 270 degrees. People behind me wouldn't shut up. I don't care if you're speaking English or Spanish. Shut up. And when you have your phone out watching another video while The Nun 2 is going on, yo, the disrespect is mad. If you're going to spend 17 plus dollars for a movie ticket, yo, what the fuck? Anyway, The Nun 2, what's this about? I'm going to say this is about 4 years after The Nun 1. And now the sister who basically saved everyone in the first one is now back working at another monastery in France. But she's been called upon by the Vatican because priests have been either killing themselves or being burnt alive. And now will she be able to defeat the nun again? So, like this film, I am struggling to give it a score. I'm not saying it's a good movie. I'm not saying it's a bad movie, but I'm saying that there is stuff in this movie which I understand what they're going for, but in the overall Conjuring universe, when connecting to Conjuring, The Nun 1, it just feels clunky and incomplete. So when talking about the positives, I do think the story is better in this one. This one has a little bit more fleshing out of the nun and why the nun is who she or it is. Also, we added a new character about the patron saint of the blind. I think adding that element to it does add a little bit of flair and interesting. It makes you think more. The first one, it was more of like, jump scare, jump scare, jump scare, nice environment. Here, you're like, okay, we're fleshing stuff out a little bit more. We're having a little bit more characters, maybe a love interest, which the love interest part, it was whatever. But adding this backstory of a saint, of what this nun is going for, really did add a little bit of oomph to the story. Also, just like I would say not Conjuring 3, I would say just like Annabelle 3, how we add a lot more characters into this movie. This kind of is the same way of adding a goat character. That's all I'm going to say. And I think adding that was kind of fun, but overall felt tame. And what I mean by that is where this location is, at least in Annabelle creation, they weren't afraid to go there with people dying, things happening to people. Here, it just felt safe and tame, and how this nun character is supposed to be this badass, like the most terrifying demon ever in the Conjuring universe. She's kind of soft. Like when it comes to killing, when it comes to doing stuff to people, it's more of like, oh, no one's gonna die in this whatsoever. Like, period, dot. We're supposed to be scared of this entity, but no one in this monastery is gonna die because of her. Yes, you get like maybe 2 or 3 as a whole, but they're not, in the monastery. That's a lie. There's maybe 1, but the rest are kind of in the outside world where it's like, okay, we're focused on this monastery. Why isn't anything bad happening to these people? It needs to be like a consistent, like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. But it never really went to that level. It was kind of like, I want to say flatlining the whole time, but that's what it really was. If we want to talk about scares, there were no scares. I mean, very tame. And this is the same director of The Curse of La Llorona, as well as Conjuring 3. And Conjuring 3, when I watched it, I only watched it once, but I realized, yeah, this is not scary whatsoever. Like, no frights. I know Conjuring 1 and 2 had the frights. Conjuring 3 did not. This is the same way. You're watching this movie, like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's a cool little element you're doing right there. Oh, that's some cool little flair right there. But like, oh shit, did I hear anyone in the audience scream or like, be like, oh, hell nah. No, there's absolutely none of that in this screening whatsoever. But what there was is a phone in the background playing some kind of Hispanic show, which was pissing me the fuck off. Anyway, the CGI, they went kind of CGI-esque in this movie, which I do find that a flaw. Because when you watch the first one did go like more practical through these tunnels, and we're going to do stuff here. They're like, you know what? Since it's like the Pope's Exorcist, we're going to go that bonkers route. And it's like, is it needed? Sure, if it works. But the problem is, like I said, when the story is continuing on, you're realizing no one's going to get injured. No one's going to die. And you're just like, yeah. So there's no stakes anymore when you realize that is occurring. And then when I said the connection wise, when you have it, if you watch the first one, it connects to the Conjuring 1 about this Frenchie character. And that goes along with the stakes. Since it already connected to the first one, you know what's going to happen in this movie at the very end because it continues in the 60s for the same character with the Warrens. So you're like, stakes are kind of gone if you watch the first one back to back. But overall, I think The Nun 2 is good at atmospheric, has a better story. But when compared to the first Nun, it's hard to say which one's better because honestly, they're probably receiving the same score. So The Nun 2 will receive a 2 out of 5 with Futon, so it goes at 40%. We'll see the Critics' News scores gave this one, and I've been teetering on that 40 and 50. 40 it is. So interesting, Nun, we're at a 54% with 56 the critics. No critic consensus or audience score. So there we go. Like I said, was I scared at all? No. Was I interested in the story? Yes. But the stakes just weren't on the screen. 54-40. Chase Lee Hockey here at the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if things Buton Tope you. Buton, think it's a great day. Not here. Watch this today, tomorrow, week, for a month, for a year from now. I love every single one of you. Did you see The Nun 2? Do you think it's better than the first one? I think it will have a better critics and audience score than the first one. But something... I needed more Nun. There wasn't a lot of The Nun.